Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to my review of Red Hood and the Outlaws number 6. This scene does not really appear in the issue. It's just funny to me. And all three of them are together at this point, trying to, I guess, fix, I don't know what, I'm not sure what it is, but Jason and Artemis are holding, looks like tires, and there's the shadow of Batman in the background, and Bizarro saying, "Fixed it." It's just a cute cover to me. It's funny, and this is the team of Scott Lobdell, the writer, Dexter Soy, art, and Veronica Gandini, the colors. Now, something I would like to mention that I don't see as a big deal, but, others might. Around Black Mask's left leg here, going down all around his foot and back up to his groin, then down his right leg and around his foot, there's this white outline, and I'm not sure why it's there. And then we see the same with Red Hood while he's laying on the floor. There's this white outline there across his groin and down his left leg. I don't know if that was something to do with the coloring or what, but anyway, it's not a real big deal. Just something I noticed. I don't remember if I noticed it the first time I read this issue, practically, I guess, a year ago. This is, in Gotham City, and Black Mask is not yet finished with Red Hood. He's still trying to keep it together, Black Mask is. It's not as bad as it looks, says Red Hood to us, the reader. I almost regret our union has come to an end so quickly, Black Mask says. He is creepy, but now I have the tech you use to sever my connection to the mayor, which is the one thing that could have disrupted my control over the creature. You walked me right to it, Jason. As such, I have no more need of you in my life. Then Jason says, "Don't sweat it, Black Mask. I was never that into you." Though I'll admit, it does look pretty bad. Dark Trinity, Part 6, Darker Days. Then we see a crash right through the wall. It's Artemis and Bizarro. Thanks for the distraction, Red. What the hell? Now, we don't see that white outline anywhere else in this issue. It was just there on the first page. I don't know why. And so, Black Mask is holding a gun right on Jason, but he uses his arm to deflect it and says, "This is the reason it would never work out, Roman. Besides the fact that I was just hanging around long enough to build a case against you that could hold up in court. You make like you have this massive crush on Gotham City." Which is putting it simply, but, it's... It makes sense. He says, "Then you turn around and unleash a monster on the streets. Are you okay, Artemis?" She says, "Don't I look okay?" He says, "Don't dare question my adoration for Gotham. I'm the one dedicated to use Bizarro to purge the city of all its deplorables. And by the way, I did look up the definition of deplorable the other day. It means worthy of condemnation. So Black Mask is basically saying that all the people he calls deplorables that live in Gotham City are worthy of condemnation. So in effect, they're not worthy to live there. And then Black Mask uses Bizarro, as we see Bizarro throw Artemis right up against Jason. Wham! Starting with you two. Bizarro. Damn. Was hoping his mental control over Bizarro would have weakened by now, Jason remarks. But bam! I have a plan, he says. Grand. Let's hope it works out better than, every other plan you've tried since we met. That's good. That's good. Look at that art. That is just wonderful. Jason says to Artemis, I've been wailing on Black Mask, just like you've been distracting Bizarro. Then Artemis says, distracting? I've been doing a hell of a lot more than... And that's what she's been doing. It's been distracting Bizarro with, beating him up and everything. He says, focus. The more we fight them, the more the techno-organic virus rages through Roman's brain. So she starts to figure it out. You're saying we keep fighting until he burns to a cinder? I can get behind that. And Jason says, well, maybe not a cinder. But yeah, basically. Ready? Okay. But this time, you take Bizarro and I'll take Black Mask. He's like, She says, relax, I'm joking. The artwork just grabs my attention. And the action. Sorry, Bizarro, she says. Crash! Right across his jaw. He says, red her, not seem sorry. And Jason goes after Black Mask. You didn't really think this through, Roman. How did you draw that conclusion, he says. And Jason basically tells him that he's wrong about Black Mask thinking that he and Jason were so much alike, because it's like saying that Jason is like the Batman, which is not at all. And he's saying this while he's looking him directly in the face to instill fear into a Black Mask. But Black Mask just tells him, keep thinking that, keep telling yourself that. And then Black Mask falls to the floor. Arrgh! Not feeling well, Jason says. And it's because... There we go. It's the techno-organic virus. And he's speaking in a language that Jason doesn't recognize. Okay, now you're just freaking me out. And he says, please, the cure must. He's burning up. Fight it, Bizarro. And Artemis genuinely looks concerned for him. I really think she is. Me am trying. So Bizarro is aware of what's going on, even though he's fighting the control. And she says, maybe this will help. Wham! Right into his torso. And he says, maybe, but mostly just hurts. And Jason cannot understand what he's saying. No idea what that means. Then Black Mask gives us the answer. It is Kryptonian. It means the all of one. The way the creature sees this world, so bizarre. I can see everything, everywhere. How little my love of Gotham means in the great vastness of the cosmos. I realize me am nothing. Just like Bizarro. Hacking your brain into a faulty alien clone was a bad thing, huh? Who would have thought? He's tapping his gun on his head. But please, the cure. You can save me. Then the dialogue gets more serious. Why the hell would I want to do that? Jason says. Even if you didn't blow up an orphanage or kill those henchmen right in front of me, you still have a rap sheet a mile long. Please, you can't kill me. You gave your word. You're right, he says. I promised Batman I wouldn't kill you. But I'll be damned if I'm going to help you. And then he takes that techno-organic virus, the cure for it, out, and he smashes it, in his hand. He says, think about that, Roman, while you're trapped inside a body that'll no longer respond to you. A body that is as lifeless as the streets and buildings of the city you tried to rule. You plotted yourself right into a coma, and as much as I would love to take credit for it, remember you have no one to blame but yourself. And then Bizarro is about to bring down some hurt on Artemis. At least that's what she thinks. This is going to hurt, she's telling herself. Then she looks up at him because he's hesitating. And Bizarro just flicks some dirt off her shoulder and says, "Me am sorry. Am you okay?" Of course, I am okay. I am an Amazon, for God's sake. What was that all about? She says. Me am not sure. Bad man in Bizarro's head. Then poof, no more bad. He helps her up, and she doesn't immediately respond. Because, the whole, need permission to touch me deal. But then she pushes him away. Then they go back to Jason. And she asks, what happened to Black Mask? He's not a problem anymore. And then she says, I'm happy for you, but I'm angry at myself. All this nonsense has pulled me away from my real quest for the Bow Ra. I have to go. And this is a sort of touching. As a police car and a cameraman arrive, we see this. Jason's remarking that she doesn't have to do this on her own because they believe that they owe her one. And she says the quest is, more about, it's about more than just honor. It's personal. and she can't involve them. But then Bizarro says, Bizarro am confused. We am not joined already? The big guy has a point. And so she says, fine. So she allows him to come along. And says, when this is finished, that they go their separate ways. And Jason agrees. But then Bizarro says, me am certain that will happen. So everything about Bizarro is backwards, basically. So I think he meant that it won't happen, that they won't go their separate ways, of course. Now, 7 days and several blocks later, this is someone's keeping track of Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro, and post up this word, Dark Trinity. Now, you might think, oh, this is Batman keeping track, but we're not given that. We're not given that detail. It does appear to be a person who's dressed in a black suit, wearing black gloves. So it can't be Black Mask, because he's out of it right now. And all we see is, I love it. So that will have to be addressed, I believe, in a future issue. Now, this is outside the Gotham City limits. Jason is waiting for Bruce, who pulls up in the Batmobile. Vroom! And there he is, sitting on his motorcycle. And he gets up and says, Black Mask has fallen completely off the radar. Tell me the truth, Jason. What did you do to him? He says, don't get your bat panties in a bunch, Bruce. I kept my word. I didn't kill him. Which is true, he didn't. In fact, you can say I took a page from your book. I didn't do a damn thing. The detail on his face to show his expression is just great right there. And he says, but that's the last time I play by your rules. I tried it your way, and it sucks, frankly. And he says, my rules? Yeah, all your law and order crap. Then Batman laughs. Ha! Now Jason's confused. Are you laughing at me because it's really unsettling? He says, I'm sorry. How long were we together when you were Robin? And you think I'm all about law and order? He says, Jason, I break into private property without a warrant and beat up people almost every night. What about that? Sounds like law and order to you, he says. And Jason kind of grins a little bit and says, then why are you always giving me such a hard time? Batman says, do you remember what I said to you the very first night you put on your uniform? So then we have a flashback. Several years ago when Jason Todd was Robin, and he's hanging out on top of a building. He says, how did you know I was here? Because you're the only kid I've ever met who has his favorite gargoyle. Look, Batman, what if you and Alfred are wrong about me? What if I screw up or something? And then Batman says something everybody should hear from somebody in their life. At least once. Batman says, I am 100% confident that you will screw up, Robin. You'll jump to conclusions. You'll make mistakes. you're bound to fail spectacularly at least once. He says, real confidence building skills there. I didn't ask you to be Robin because I wanted someone perfect. I wanted someone who can do their best, who can learn from their mistakes, someone who makes me a better person just by being with them. So tell me, is that you, Jason? Then we go back to the present day. Jason says, so you're okay with me never being you? And he says, there's already a Batman. We're good. Then Bruce adds, and a Wonder Woman and a Superman. Jason interjects, you don't care that I'm hanging around with Artemis? You're going to trust me with the Superman clone? Bruce looks Jason square in the face, saying, the last Bizarro I knew about belonged to an evil megalomaniac. But the two of them helped save the world. Let's just say I trust you a hell of a lot more than I trust Lex Luthor. Now this question that Jason's going to ask, we've already heard at least twice. He says, last question. I'm only going to ask you this once, Bruce. So think about your answer. What's that? You hungry? He brought food. So they sit on the Batmobile just having a meal, munching down. And Batman says, the world might have just enough heroes, Jason. Maybe we can do with a few outlaws. So that's something else to see Batman give him that kind of, green light. And then but he says, but seriously, where is Roman? So, where is the Black Mask? So for that, we go back to Ma Gunn's school. It's Ma Gunn's home for the criminally impaired. It's no longer for school for wayward boys. Jason says he's with a mutual friend of ours. And through the window we see, does my little man want his nums-nums? So yummy. And it's like taking care of a newborn, I guess. Come on, Roman, open wide. That's it. There's my little man. You don't want to make Mama angry. That's Black Mask. He's totally out of it, so Ma Gunn is taking care of him. Next issue. How do you solve a problem like Bizarro? So that was Red Hood and the Outlaws number 6. I enjoyed it. I really did. There wasn't much Artemis in it, but the next story arc is going to be about Artemis. So we have that. I have that to look forward to. So did you enjoy this issue? Because I certainly did. Let me know in the comments below. Please do subscribe to my channel, Spirit Comics, and smash that bell like She-Hulk so you can be notified of all new uploads. And if you enjoyed this review, share it with someone so they can enjoy it too. And drop a like. That would help out the channel greatly. I'm Michael for Spirit Comics. Till next time, true readers.